I'm so excited. I have one of my favorite people in the whole world, and he didn't even know until today. This is Stephen Thomas. He is our local economist, and he has been highlighted and actually quoted on some of the top media sites. Bloomberg, right? US Today, what's it? Wall Street Journal. And even Audra Lambert is quoting him as well. This man has mentored me, and he does not even know. Now, I've been in this business for 23 years, and there is not a single report that I don't read of his, from every single word. And it's taught me a lot about my business. It's taught me a lot about the economy. It's taught me a lot about just about everything. So I want you to really pay attention. And before we get off this live stream, I want to make sure that you subscribe to his YouTube channel. No one's sponsored. We're not paying anybody here. We're just here to bless and educate United States of America. So I want to introduce Stephen. Stephen, tell us a little bit about yourself.
So I've been doing this since 1991. Graduated with a quantitative economics and decision sciences major from the University of California, San Diego, in beautiful La Jolla. Might not know the UCSD. It's affiliated. It's like UCLA, but we don't have a football team, so it's just where a bunch of nerdy geeks go on a daily basis and get an education. So I've been doing that since 1991. Represented buyers and sellers back in the 90s. Hung up my hat, helped out run a brokerage, started a housing report back in 2004, monetized the housing report in 2011, branched off on my own, and never looked back. And I am happily married, have 9 kids.
Nine.
Yes,
And the oldest
for real.
is? We're dating.
The oldest is 29.
Okay.
She'll be 30 come in May. And she's married. She has a baby. So I'm a grandfather of a 2-year-old. And then the youngest is 7.5, and he's in the 2nd grade. It is a lot of fun. We are a blended family, if you're trying to figure it all out. And I brought mine, she brought hers. We adopted each other's kids. And then we had Zeke, our 7.5-year-old. So
Oh, wow. It's like a Brady Bunch.
it's not dull.
Well, we have a lot of people tuning in because they want to know what the heck is going on in the housing market. So before we go into like what's going to happen in 2026, let's talk about where we are currently.
Yeah, so this year and last year, we finally got decent rates, but they came too late. They came in our fall and holiday markets. So what I mean by halfway decent rates is we've been stuck in what we refer to as mortgage purgatory between 6.5% and 7.5% for since probably right around the end of 2022. And so we've been stuck there for quite some time, and we got better rates, but they came too late. What I mean by better rates is being stuck in the 7s or even in the upper 6s, it's just too high. Affordability really is an issue. It starts getting better the closer you get to 6%. And we're finally there, and it looks like that's where we're going to be. A little hint at where we're going in 2026 is with lower rates. So that's kind of where we are. What that's done is backdrop. So this year we have more homeowners that are coming on the market. So we've built an inventory. What happened in 2023 is, yes, we had very high rates, but very few homeowners placed their homes on the market that year because they thought that rates were going to come back down into the 5s. They didn't. But very few people came on the market, and yes, we had higher rates. However, the inventory was so low that the little bit of demand actually outpaced the amount of inventory we had, and we had prices go up. In 2024, we had more homes come on the market. We added to the inventory, and the same amount of demand, and so the inventory started to accumulate. More homeowners came on this year than last year, way more than 2 years ago, and that's just because we're getting further and further away from when people purchase homes. They need to do different things. There's more people placing their homes on the market, but so we have extra homes coming on the market, and it's starting to accumulate at a greater rate this year. That's where we're getting closer to pre-pandemic levels. We're still not at pre-pandemic levels.
No.
Still
Okay,
not
real
there.
quickly, for us slow people out
Yes.
there, you're using the word demand. What does that mean? We got, common folk here, including myself. What does that mean?
I like to see good old Econ 101, supply and demand. Supply is available number of homes to show your buyers today, and demand is a snapshot of the last 30 days of pending sales activity. I like to look at that as demand. Some people like to look at closed sales data, but that's a reflection of the past. I want to know what's going on right now with contracts. And people say, yeah, some fall out. Yeah, but we follow the same metric over time. So we're going to have a pretty accurate depiction of how many buyers are in the marketplace pulling the trigger at writing offers.
Okay, so let's talk about mortgage rates, okay? So when they say the Fed's going to drop the Fed rate, does that mean the mortgage rates drop too?
Oh my gosh, that's one of the things I like to pound my head against the table when so many people think that. So we had a quarter point rate drop from the Federal Reserve, and that is a short-term federal funds rate. It's an overnight banking rate. What you do, and when you have a buyer that is looking to purchase, they're looking at a 30-year mortgage. That's long-term. It's not an overnight banking rate. So they control the short end of what they call interest rate curve. The long end of the interest rate curve is actually controlled by investors. So, as a matter of fact, what has happened is every time that they pull the trigger and cut rates actually floated up higher that day and the following day, except for this year. They just did it yet. They just met this week. They announced yesterday quarter point rate drop, and actually he was a bit better in his Q&A. I was finally happy with
who's
him.
that?
That's Jerome Powell, the head of the Federal Reserve. He's one man. There's actually 12 that vote. There's 19 on the overall board, but only 6 get to vote all the time. They're appointed by the president. The other 6 get a vote. New York every single time, but the others are regional bank presidents, and they're not appointed by the president. They're appointed by the board of directors of their regional banks. So there's only 6 of them out of the 13 that get to vote at any given time based upon the year.
Okay, but wait, real quickly. So Jerome Powell's bye-bye, right? When's he bye-bye?
Even if he's bye-bye, he's one guy. There's
Okay.
12 people that vote. So you remove one and you put in another one, it doesn't change anything.
Yeah, but they get influence, right? They can influence.
They can influence a little. Yes, there is some influence.
Okay.
However, I want the Federal Reserve to do what the Federal Reserve does. I don't
Which
want
is?
pressure. That is, they have a dual mandate. That is price stability and maximum employment.
Right.
That's all that they're supposed to do. They're not supposed to be steered in a certain direction because you want lower rates. Now, if you start doing that, you can research the term Burns and Nixon to find out why you don't want to do that.
Okay. So who's going to be his replacement?
It looks like Kevin Hassett, and I don't think the market really is too enthused about it, but it looks like that's probably who it's going to be.
Okay, and why are they not enthused? When you say it, how would you know?
Because over like the last week, we saw the 10-year treasuries is a good benchmark where it started to lift. It started to go a little bit higher, and that's because everybody is digesting the fact that Kevin Hassett was floated a week ago that he was going to be the next Fed president. And then they said that they were going to make an announcement, and they didn't. It's coming in January. That's because they want to float it. They want to see how the market's going to react, which they're not too keen on it. They'd rather want somebody that's more of a Fed person, not a yes person.
Got it. Okay, so the 10-year treasury rate right now is what, 4.1 something, right?
Yes.
4.1 something.
Yeah.
So that's right around 6.5 on the mortgage, right?
Yeah, we're finally 6.25.
6.25. Okay, so I remember when mortgage rates were 4% before pre-pandemic levels, right? 4%.
Yes.
And you're saying you think the market's going to start getting a little bit more, we'll say, hotter if rates come down right around 6, maybe high 5s.
Yeah, I actually don't want them to go into the 5s yet. I want baby steps. I can't imagine us having anything that starts with a 5, even if it's 5.9 in the springtime, because it'll be at the expense of millennials and Gen Zs. You can imagine that entry-level price range will get clogged with way too many millennials and Gen Zs. They'll be fighting among each other with multiple offers, and it just wouldn't be a healthy situation. I want to do it in baby steps. I want exactly 6.0%.
Okay. So let's go back to supply and demand. So we got inventory. So this is where we are today. So before pre-pandemic levels, we had inventories across the United States right around 1 million, right? Just average. I'm just going off all the things you taught me, sir. And so right now, inventories are increasing. We're getting closer to that million, right? Right there, close across the nation.
Yeah, so I look at it as we're actually 1,550,000. It's to be where we were prior to pandemic. You're going to get closer to a little bit higher than that, but we haven't even made it to pre-pandemic levels. In some areas, it just depends upon the area that you're in. There are some areas that are still starved for inventory, and that's why you hear that they're really having a hard time finding a home up in the the Northeast.
Let's put this on the screen, can you? So this is a slide. We'll put it on the screen. It's by Resi Club. And by the way, the only reason why I know about this is because I've been watching all this stuff. I'm like, where's he getting that map? I love this map. This shows the inventory levels compared from 2019, pre-pandemic, up to where we are today. Let's see, was it on the screen? Add to stage, yeah. There we go. So you'll see this area right here. You call that, what do you call that belt?
That's Northeast and Upper Midwest is what we refer to it as.
Yeah, so they have significantly lower inventories than pre-pandemic levels. And then look at the rest of the nation. Like they're right where they are, if not a little bit higher than pre-pandemic levels. Well, what do you think about that? Do you think that's a good thing, a bad thing? Why are all these over here in the Northeast? Why are their inventory so much lower?
Yeah, I want normal inventory.
Yeah.
Even if I say normal inventory, here's the thing: everybody's comparing it to pre-pandemic.
Yeah.
Keep in mind what they're comparing it to is still when we had very low inventory levels in relative to where we were prior to the Great Recession. During the Great Recession, we had 4 million homes in 2006, 07, and 08. We barely hit 1,550,000 this year. So we still have an inventory problem of not enough homes. So I would rather see the extra inventory, and I feel bad for the people in the Northeast or the Upper Midwest because they're still dealing with not enough homes coming on the market.
Yeah, multiple offers, appreciation levels. Okay. Look at this next slide. This is where we are today. So November, this next one. No, this one right here. Sorry. This is November 2024 compared to November 2025. Across the nation, all inventories are up across the nation, even the Northeast.
Thank goodness.
Yes, and you love that.
Yes, absolutely. I want more homes. I want more sticks in the yards because at the end of the day, it creates a better balance of the marketplace.
Okay.
A lot of people don't like things taking longer to sell, but it lines up in the buyer's column a little bit better when you have more inventory. And that's kind of where we want to be. I don't want a repeat of what we had during the pandemic. That's for darn sure, where there's nothing on the market and way too many buyers. That's when you do the supply and demand scale, that little supply demand scale, it's the wrong way.
Yeah.
It's favoring sellers, and I don't really want to see it favor it like it was during those 2 years.
I think I need a booster seat. This guy's 6'4", by the way. The other question I have is going into 2026, inventory levels. Everyone's predicting slightly more inventory. Are you in agreement with that?
It totally depends upon rates.
Okay. So you think we're in a rate-driven market?
Absolutely. I think we're going to have a hard time building inventory if we stay between 6 and 6.5%. We just haven't been there in the spring over the last couple of years. It's matching up with the spring. It's going to sneak up on everybody, and people are going to go, well, I thought you said that type of thing. And if we drop below 6%, good luck on building inventory. It's just going to, it's going to be crazy. It'll be a crazier marketplace. That's why I want to do it in baby steps. I'd rather get to the 5s the second half of the year and not for it not to match up with our spring. We're very close. If we're at 6.25%, 5s is not that far from where we're at right now.
That's a big mortgage payment shift, though, for people, right?
It is. So we're in SoCal, and in high cost areas, every quarter point that it goes down, it's a significant substantial difference. But across the United States, everybody pays attention, and every quarter point drop is substantial. Now, we were at 7% at the up above 7 just last May,
right?
And the difference between 7 and 6 is huge. It's huge. Now, if you do the difference between 7 and you go all the way down to 5.5, it is gargantuan, and it's enough where it will be a major shift in the marketplace.
And I remember 2022, the end of 2022, it was a nightmare. It got up to 8% mortgage rates. I can honestly say that was the scariest I've ever been at the end of the year. And then guess what? It came around to 2023. Rates pulled back a little bit. The market picked up, and off we went again. So we are really in a rate-driven economy. We really are, right?
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
So I remember watching some of your videos, studying some of your stuff a couple of years ago, and you were always talking about the hunkering down effect. Explain what that is, and are we still there?
Yeah, people call it locked in.
Locked in.
And it's like in California, it's 28% of everybody owns their home. It has a mortgage of 3% or lower. Across the United States, it's 20%.
Okay.
So 1 out of every 5 people has an interest rate of 3% or lower. A lot of those people don't want to make a move. But let's say that they have lived in their home for 10 years, refinanced to below 3%, and they want to move. It's the last time we had an interest rate below 6% was back in August of 2022, which was 40 months ago. That was a long time ago.
Right.
So there are more and more people that are now coming on the market that were, they were a little more cautious. They didn't want to come on the market last year or the year before. And so each year we're getting more homeowners that are coming on the market. What's going on is that they're enjoying their low payment and they don't want to make a move because of their low payment. And people say locked in. I don't like the term locked in because some of them, they just get to, they're able to do it, but now they're going to have to change some of their lifestyle.
Right.
They're not going to be able to go to Cancun 4 times a year like they've been going. Instead, they're going to have to do a day trip to the mountains and come back and, things like that in order for them to make a move. And change. Some people are growing out. They're growing out of their house. Their kids are getting bigger. They need a bigger home. They need a yard. Or they're downsizing. Right. There's a lot of people that want to do things that aren't able to do things, and the longer they're waiting in their house, the more they're going, I don't want to be here forever.
Right. Okay, so let's pivot. Your last report that came out talked about condos.
Oh boy.
Yeah. So the condo market, right? It's not good.
Yeah, so what's going on is things are slowing for new homes, slowing for attached. And the reason that is because there's more and more homes coming on the market, so there's a lot more competition. Now, when people are looking at different things, they're veering away from condos because a lot of them have problems. They have problems getting financing, so they have to go not conventional financing. It requires
non-QM, right?
Yeah, non-QM, 20% down. And the reason for that is because there are a lot of condo complexes that have reserve issues. They have insurance issues. They have special assessments. They have litigation. There's a problem in California is one of the only states that requires. It's the only state that requires a balcony certification.
Yeah, that's
so
a big one.
You have all of these mixed at the same time, and what it's doing, it's really slowing down the market. It was that entry level market where it was a little bit faster typically than detached market because it's the entry level, the stepping stone. Yep. But with all these costs, it's getting more and more expensive. Dues are going up. There's special assessments. There's different issues that are insurance that are making it more expensive. There are some dwellings that are not even insurable, so they're having issues along those lines. So that it's creating a problem where they have to go non-QM. There's not as much demand for it. So as a result, the inventory is picking up, demand's coming down a little bit. So that's really slowing down the market, which puts it in the buyer's column. So it is substantially, in some markets, extremely substantially slower than it is the detached market.
And just real quick, for those of you that don't know what a non-QM loan is, there's Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac conventional loans. They have certain guidelines, and they have to mean the condo community has to meet these guidelines. If they don't meet the guidelines, they don't get a mortgage-backed loan backed by Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac. So they have to go outside of that, and it's usually a point and a half higher to get what's called a non-qualified mortgage. So that really hurts some of these condo communities because they can't get the conventional loan, and so they have to go non-QM. It's a big problem right now. I'm selling a few condos right now. They have, let's say there's a lawsuit, or they have some inspection issues, or they don't have the right insurance limits, and they cannot get conventional loans on some of the condo units. It's really hard because that's really kind of the entry level for a lot of these first-time home buyers, right?
Right.
So it's hard. It's really hard right now. All right, so $1 million question, okay? In 2026, where do you see rates going, if you had to guess?
My base case is where they're at right now. Now, 6 to 6.5%. Now, keep in mind, last year, we went between 6 and 6.5%. We hit there at the end of August, got there through the start of October. We were there for 45 glorious days. And I was going, wow, that was great. It was fantastic.
Yeah.
This year, we've been below 6.5%, and we've stayed there. And today is day 99, so we're just about to hit 100 days. And this is duration, and this is where we think we're going to match up during the spring. We didn't get those rates. We started off this year above 7%, and the same thing happened last spring. We were above 7%. Last year, we were in the month of May, we hit 7.5% 3 different times. Okay. And then we were bumping around between 7 and 6.75, and then we were at 7% last in May of this year, and then it's come down gradually because the economy is cooling. This time it feels like it's exactly where it should be. As a matter of fact, I thought even last couple of days it was too high, and I was right. Now it's actually adjusted, and the Federal Reserve adjusted their speaking, their their question and answering that Jerome Powell, the head of the Federal Reserve, did yesterday. And basically he was alluding to the fact that we're kind of where we should be. Now we're going to get more numbers, and we're going to get a lot of slew of data next week that can even bring us down even closer towards 6%.
All right, is the market going to crash?
Oh my gosh, no way. No.
What
There's
about-
not enough inventory. We talked
Okay.
about inventory. 4 million during the Great Recession,
Yep.
and there was even almost 3 million in the fall of 2005.
Wow.
That really predated, but we saw it that early. We have no indicators, anything like that right now. A. B, you need 3 things in order for you to have a price crash.
What is it?
And we only have, you need a lot of homes, like the 4 million, not the 1.5
Right.
million that we have right now.
Over surplus. Like
Over
too many
surplus.
homes.
It's what I call a glut of homes. You
Yep.
need a glut of homes on the market. So
Yep.
that adds to that supply and demand thing where there's
Yep.
way too much supply. And then you have to have very, very low demand. That's the second main ingredient they have to have. But there's a third ingredient. You have to have sellers that must sell. And we had that during the Great Recession in the forms of banks, foreclosures.
Yep.
We have no, foreclosures are very, very little. There's not going to be a lot of foreclosures. I don't care what anybody says.
Yep.
Then there's many ways of tracking all the foreclosure data, and it's just not going to materialize. We're not going to get a wave of foreclosures. We are still making our way back up to pre-pandemic levels. We're not there yet, and it's going to might take us a couple more years to even get there.
Okay. And as far as what do I want to say? New home buyers coming into the market. Do you see that demand's going to pick up?
New home buyers?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean people that are looking for brand new
Demand.
houses.
Is demand going to improve?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yes. So sorry.
Yeah. It's not, I'm not clear.
I thought you meant new home buyers.
No. I meant
but
you know,
home buyers,
yeah,
buyers
yeah.
coming in that
Yeah.
they're going to be enticed by these better rates because they've been hearing about +7, 8 that you talked about in
Yeah, yeah.
2023, and now we're going to get down towards 6. As soon as we get down towards 6, it makes a material difference. We get down into the 5s. That 5 alone is going to be a giant national commercial for getting into the real estate market. So that's why I don't want to quite be there yet. I just want to do it in baby steps.
Okay.
I don't want any repeat of supply and demand issues.
We have a lot of people from Florida watching. What do you
Yes.
think about that Florida market?
See, and that's where there's the doomers and gloomers pick on Florida. Now, Florida, over the course of this year, there are in 2026, they're not going to be ground zero of where all these doomers are going to go because that's where they've been for a while. They've been hanging out there in Florida, saying this is the way the rest of the country's going to go, but they've been wrong.
Yeah.
It's next going to go. It's going to move its way towards Mississippi, New Orleans,
Oh, good.
Louisiana.
Okay.
So
Okay.
Louisiana and there's this Sun Belt area right around there going up a little bit,
Okay.
and it's where there's a little bit more exposure of people that bought over the last few years that haven't seen a lot of appreciation, and they put down FHA loans 3.5%. They don't have a lot of skin in the game.
Okay.
Things change, and then they walk away from mortgages, things like that. So there'll be a little bit more activity, and we could see a recipe for values coming down. But that's not across the United States, and that's not Florida completely. There are some small the small markets in Florida that get picked on. There's this one county that's teeny tiny that they keep on going around, walking around the doomers. I
Okay,
call them.
all
The
right.
people that have these YouTube channels that like to say that prophesize doom and gloom,
Yeah,
and
I
they go
know.
walk around over there, and then I don't know how they put their heads on the pillow because they've been wrong for many, many years now.
Yeah.
But so it's no longer going to be the limelight in Florida where they're going down. They're going to go focus on somebody else.
Okay. I'm going to take a quick break. I want you to put Steven's information up here on the screen. Now, I want you all to subscribe to his channel. Whether you're buying or selling a home, I'm telling you right now, I do not walk in a listing appointment without having this report. You're not seeing Carla, my assistant. Can you see her? Isn't she cute? I don't know if you can see her. But she puts this together. Like, I'm not kidding. It's like next to my Bible, my Bible, it's Stephen Thomas's report. So I want you to follow him. He's going to educate you. He's going to help you make some good decisions. And the market's always changing. So when we're talking about forecasts, we can have a black swan event. There could be rates could all of a sudden spike higher, and now we have even a slower market. Like, we just can't predict what's going to happen in the future. But looking at the inventory, knowing the interest rates, kind of looking at your area, are the days of market calculation increasing or decreasing? It's really helpful, and I want everybody watching this channel to be educated. So do we got this on the screen? Please subscribe to his channel. He's amazing. You got it? and he's lots of fun. He's super nerdy. This is all you do. You love
This is
this,
it.
right?
I love it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't get enough of it. My junk food of choice is anything that has to do with economics.
Now, please put some questions we can ask Stephen, but one of the ones that kept coming up, because we kind of put a little, question, ask Stephen some questions, is that 50-year mortgage. What do you think about that?
Yeah.
Is it going to happen? Is
Silly,
it stupid?
silly. And they walked it right back. I'm glad that they're talking about things, but that's silly. You're basically renting from a bank permanently.
Okay.
And you'll never own your home. So hey, rather than do that 50-year mortgage, I'd rather go out there today. It's December. Go pick on some seller that's languishing on the market, get them to pay a point, and now you're at an interest rate in the 5s. And the difference between the 50-year mortgage payment and the one in the 5s will be the same. And a lot of people have this this misconception. They think that rates are at 6.25%, that's what they can plug in for a 50-year mortgage, and that's not true. A 15-year mortgage is already in the 5s, and a 30-year mortgage is at 6.25%. A 50-year mortgage, there's more risk. That's
Right, so
why.
it's gonna be
there's
higher.
risk, so it's going to be higher. Now you're
Right.
looking at 6.75%.
Interesting.
So now it's higher. So now you have to compare apples to apples. 50-year mortgage at 6.75. Get somebody to pay a point right now. Get into the 5s. It'll be the same.
Yeah.
So go do that, and you have yourself a 30-year mortgage. You just cut 20 years off of your paying off your mortgage.
That's right. That's right.
I'm glad they're talking about it. Not a good idea.
All right, interesting. All right, so we're gonna take another quick little break. We need to give you the fish update. So I know you all want to know what's going on with Frida. Oh yeah, I rescued a fish out of my client's fountain, and I'm not a fish girl. Frida and Georgia are sitting in my kitchen right now. Can we put her on the screen? This is this morning.
Okay,
They're
for
getting
my
nice
live
and fat.
streams, I always do a fish update. So there's Frida. I rescued Frida from my client's fountain. She was at the bottom of the fountain in some dirty old sludge, and she was gasping for air for 3 solid days. It broke my heart. Anyway, I rescued her. She's now living in the Taj Mahal right here. And what I didn't realize about goldfish is they're very social. So I bought her a little friend named Georgia. Hi, Georgie. And Georgie's getting fat. I think I'm overfeeding them. Like, I cannot believe how big Georgia's getting. She's almost the size of Frida, but they're doing great. And I'm sad to report that my little snail passed away. He got stuck in the filter. So sad. I actually cried. It was really sad. But see, aren't they cute? Can you see them? Look how big little Georgia's belly is. Ooh. Okay, you guys are going on intermittent fasting. Yes, you are. Aren't they cute? Come here, friends. So cute.
So cute.
All right, happy to report they're doing well.
I know that has nothing to do with economics, but
I
we
love
just
it.
got to give you an update. All right, let's take a few questions. Carly, can you put it on the screen? Oh no, I didn't get my glasses. I should have learned. Audra and Stephen, hold on. Audra and Stephen, where should a new buyer hunt for best mortgage rates? Mortgage company, local banks, national banks, etc. Thank you. Want me to answer that, or do you want me to answer it?
You can answer that.
All right. So the answer is you need to shop. We have, a mortgage guy on my team. His name's Ian. We'll link his information down below. He gives great rates, but I want you to shop around. And no matter what, you always want to have a plan B. Right now, the lending restrictions are getting much tighter. Banks are not being as risky as they once were. So you want to go with 2 lenders. Lender 1, lender 2. If this one can't do it, you have a backup, and it's called cross-qualifying. You want to do it all at once. So it really depends on your FICO scores. It depends on your history. It depends on a lot of different things. But, you got to shop around. Happy to give you Ian's number. He's been serving a lot of you, actually. I think we closed, or we got 13 of you under contract right now. So that's great. All right, what's another question? Okay, I'm watching market pricing fall in hot Houston I can't even read. Okay.
Houston suburban area
Right,
over the
yeah,
past 90
right.
days. Is that something that we can expect to see fall further in 2026? So that's not where the heat map is. I like to look to see where things are headed and whether they're forecasted. There's not a lot of places that forecast specific cities. One of those is actually Zillow.
Oh, really?
They have this, as much as real estate agents can't, they have a hard time with Zillow, but they have the smartest research department.
Really?
And if you look up Zillow research data, you can actually, there are some nerdy Excel spreadsheets that you can download for free, and it'll give you every single zip code in the United States and tell you what is forecasted from now to a year out from now.
Okay.
And you can actually look at Houston. I think it's, from what I remember, I think it's down only slightly, like
Okay.
down 1% or something like that.
Okay.
Because we're going to have this better rate environment, and they're not ground zero for all the people, the doomers talking. So if it's 1%, that's over the course of a year.
Got it.
That is so small that
Okay.
any buyer that's coming in there, they should not be lowballing. That means that they're getting like $1,000 less than the last person just paid. That's it. So it's not any gigantic pressure, but they have seen some falling prices recently. And but you have to understand that could be in the background. They don't see it, but it's changing because inventory levels are really falling right now, as are demand because we're in the holidays.
right.
But then at the start of the year, there will be not that many homes coming on the market. Demand shoots up, and then we get a speedier market at the beginning of the year, and it'll match with better rates during a spring. And that's where that'll sneak up on a lot of people. They don't expect it, and that's what we expect. That's our base case forecast for this coming up year.
And this is really important. So everyone asks me, Audra, when's the best time to sell my house? Now, in my area, because, I got all the data from Stephen, it's usually the first quarter. And actually, January, not so much. February, March, April, May is really like the peak season, right?
Sure.
But everyone thinks it's summer because those sales are closing in summer. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, that's the big misconception.
Right.
It's got to be summer. No. The fastest point in the market is typically, over the last several years, has been March 1st.
Yeah.
That's the fastest.
Fastest.
And in May, you have to understand, there are more buyers in the marketplace because it's spring.
Yep.
But there are more buyers in February and March, and there aren't as many sellers coming on. There are more that come on in March for sure, but April, a lot more, and May is king to the most homes coming on the market.
Yep.
So a lot of homes are coming on the market, and typically what we get is actually, it's a little bit slower. It's actually a lot in many markets slower in May than it was on March 1st.
Interesting.
So, and there's a lot of people that think, no, it couldn't be that way. Well, I'm sorry, but that is the speed of the market.
It is. So I got this from Redfin. Why don't we put this up? This is the 2026 forecast from Redfin. Let's see, what's that one right there? Hold on, I'm going to see if you agree or disagree. Okay.
I love it.
All right. So here we go.
Because I come packed with big opinions.
Yeah, I know you do. This is Realtor.com. I said Redfin. Sorry. So they're predicting that mortgage rates are going to be about 6.3 next year.
Well, that's bold.
You
That's
think?
getting kind of where we're at right now.
Yeah, I know. Well, they're saying
That's
that
me
it was
too.
about 6.3 to 6.6 last year. So they're pretty much saying it's going to be 6.3. Pretty conservative, yeah. How many rate cuts do you think we're going to have next year? Fed rates.
I love that. I don't have my crystal ball to see what these next week we get so much data. It's so fun because of that lockdown. We actually get 2 labor reports. But then if we get our labor market that cracks, we could see the Fed jump in several times. So it's right now the way it stands, they're hinting at 1, but they said that for this year as well, and then we got more. They said that last year. They said a lot, and then they said few, and then all of a sudden they said a lot.
Right.
They keep changing their tune. They said they talked about it yesterday. It looks like they're talking 1 for next year, but I think
it's going to be more.
probably more. Yeah, probably more because I think that there's going to be more cracks that evolve in the overall economy.
So where is inflation right now?
It is
percentage.
Yeah, percentage-wise, right at 3.
Right at 3.
Right at 3.
And the goals too?
And the goals too. And they were
that
making their
core?
way down until we hit tariffs, and now it went the wrong direction.
Right.
And that's, unfortunately, you have to understand that's why the Fed is a little bit more reluctant to reduce the federal funds rate, because we have a problem with inflation. It's not going to get that bad. It's not, Some people are saying, I just listened to a podcast on the way over here coming from, I was speaking in San Diego, we could see it go as high as 4%. I'll have to wait and see how the Supreme Court rules on tariffs first to make that prognostication, but I don't think it's going to get that high. And I think it's passed through. It's one of those they call transitory. The Fed doesn't want to say.
I hate that word,
Yeah,
transitory.
so did the Fed. That's why yesterday when he was speaking, he avoided it at all costs, but pretty much defined it.
Did
3
he?
different times.
I didn't listen to it.
The definition was what he's saying was definitely was
it's interim or whatever.
It's only going to be a short period of time.
Oh my gosh! All right, let's look at the next one. Let's see what's the next prediction. Let's put that up there. Put this up here, Carla. Sorry. The next prediction that Realtor.com has is Existing home median price appreciation. So they said this year was 2%. They're slightly higher at 2.2%. What do you think about that? Home overall, this is the market, 2.2% appreciation.
Yeah, that's fair.
Fair?
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think right in line with where we're at.
Okay. Now, a lot of you think the market's going to tank. Now, Realtor.com and Stephen here are thinking it's going to be, pretty stable, if not slightly above, right?
Right, exactly.
Okay.
2% is not like, whoa.
Oh, no, I know. Yeah,
Hold on your hats.
that's where
so
it
no
was
seller
before.
should get ahead of themselves and go, yeah, I'm going to price it 2% higher than the last comp.
Well, that's a good
no,
point.
that's 2% over
Or
the year.
That's a good point. Very good. Annualized. Okay, existing home sales, year-over-year annual total. So we sold, let's say, 4.07 million, and they're expecting slightly more in 2026. Do you think they're going to have
How much are they saying up?
4.13 million?
Oh, 4.13?
So a 1.7% increase.
Yeah, that's low.
Yeah, you think it'd be more
Yeah,
because there's more homes?
because
Rates are going to come down a little
because
bit?
we're between 6 and 6.5%, matches up with our spring. I think they're off.
Okay, see, you heard from Steven. All right. So let's look at existing home sales inventory. So they said that inventory increased 15.2% this year. They're expecting inventory for existing home sales at 8.9%. Would you agree or disagree?
Well, that's sales, right?
Right.
Yeah, so that's existing homes for sale inventory.
Yeah.
They're
Year-
saying it goes up how much?
8.9%.
8.9. That's about right, but that's extra inventory, but a lot of that will end up in pending sale status. So total, I like looking at total inventory.
Okay.
Hate the term inventory of being closed sales and things like that.
Okay.
There will be more homes that come on the market because of that hunker down, what some
Yep.
people call locked in effect. More
Yep.
people are going to place their homes on the market. So there will be an increase. But as far as the supply of available homes, that won't change much if
Okay.
we're below 6.5%,
Got
which
it.
is what we think. So the supply is not going to change that much year over year. It'll be about the same. Now, if we go below in 6 into the 5s,
Yeah, it's
then
gonna get-
supplies will shrink.
Yep, because there'll be more going under contract.
Yeah, there will actually be even more homes that come on the market, but supply levels will shrink overall.
Okay. You heard it. I'm telling you, a lot of you are like, oh, the housing market's going to crash. I think it's going to be close to
Yeah,
what we have this year. Would you agree? Kind of?
Yeah. No, I think it'll be a little bit better than this year.
Oh,
We've
I'd
been
love to hear
stuck
that.
3 years. 23, 24, 25 are these triplets of the same amount of demand. Pending sales activity, closed
Okay.
sales. Closed sales have been like 4 million, 4 million, 4 million. It's
Okay.
been stuck.
Okay.
We need more. We were at 5 million before. We're missing about 1 million buyers per year for 3 years now. And that's pent up buyer demand. We usually don't talk about pent up buyer demand
Yeah.
because it's like this false story, but
Yeah,
this
yeah.
is true. There's
Okay.
millennials and Gen Zs that want to purchase that have not been able to because of affordability issues and rates coming down. It helps that.
Okay.
And the more that they come down, the more it helps it. So that's why going from 4 towards 5 it won't go from 4 to 5, but it'll be baby steps. It'll be the right direction and we'll do more sales.
Interesting. All right, I love it. All right, single-family homes, housing starts. It was 0.97 million. They're expecting 1 million, so it's a 3.1% increase.
And housing starts.
Yep.
Yeah, they're sitting on a lot of inventory. That's bold.
I love this.
I think
It's bold.
flat. I think flat.
Okay, so it's flat.
Yeah, I'd go with flat. I feel like it's a game show, but my head goes through all
Yeah,
the
yeah, no, I know it
computations and
does,
says, yeah, probably not. I'm an existing sales guy, but I read everything.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I know
yeah.
everything that's going on in the new home sales arena. And
Yeah.
I know how they're sitting on standing inventory, and I
Yeah.
know that they've fired a lot of the executives, and there's been this churn. So and they're doing different things. Lennar has bought a lot of different things. Now they're going to cut back a little bit on buildings. So, I think it's going to be flat.
Yeah, why are they cutting back on building? I'm just curious.
Well, they did a lot. They
Yeah.
ended up really opening up quite a bit and
Yeah.
doing something a little bit different. And their CEO just came out last week and said now they're going to bring that back a little bit.
Interesting. All right, good to know. Hey, he's the guy that would know. All right, the last one is homeownership rate. So just slightly. So they're saying there's going to be less homeowners in 2026. 64.8% are going to be homeowners, and compared to this year, it was 65.1%.
Yeah, that's driven. I kind of concur a little bit with that because you know this locked in effect.
Yeah.
So what we have is we have a lot of people that list their homes, then they can't sell.
Yeah.
because they're not realistic.
Right. No, it's true. I know. I deal
They're
with a lot
not
of them.
good at pricing.
Yeah.
So really, ultimately, that's what it boils down to. We could talk all day about pricing and how if they have to reduce the asking price, they'll ultimately net less. I can show it statistically. So, but yeah, it all boils down to pricing. And then when they come off the market, it's right now. This is a survey, not the, This will just give you an idea. Don't take this for 12% of everybody, because that's what their survey results. Surveys aren't the best, and if you don't believe me, look at elections.
I believe you.
So 12% is what they said are looking at, when they pull their home off the market, leasing out their house.
Yeah.
So they're becoming landlords.
Yes.
At a way faster clip than all the big giants, the conglomerate, all the hedge funds that are purchasing properties across the United States. They're actually net sellers right now. It's the mom and pop, the landlords, that will make up that, and that's why you can see a little bit of deterioration.
Okay, that's a good point.
They have a low interest rate, and they're going to say, maybe we should keep that.
Keep it, yeah. Make
so
the
you
asset
have
work
some
for
people
you,
do
right?
it. Yeah.
So actually, it's a liability. Well, I guess once you rent it, it becomes an asset, right?
Right.
Okay, rent growth. So, what is it? 1.4% we're down. They're going to say it's going to be less down last year for this 2026.
For rent growth?
Yeah. There's been a lot of rentals on the market. A lot.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to change.
Right? I don't either.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to change much. The forecast is for that to be more of the same, that it's not going to be robust on the rental side of things, just so people understand that there's going to be pressure, because there's still a lot more that are coming online, a lot of pressure along those. And then we just talked about all the people that are going to turn their homes into rentals. That just adds to the vacancy rate, which puts pressure on rentals rising.
Okay, and this is my question, and we can get to some of your other questions. But I'm having the busiest December I've ever had in my entire career.
Congratulations.
No, I mean,
that's
seriously.
Awesome.
But
you mean in terms of new listings or new pending sales?
I have a lot of listings,
Or
not new
closed.
ones. A
Closings.
lot are going under contract right now.
Wow, for
Yeah,
December.
and I'm getting a lot of it where we have investors coming in because the big beautiful bill, something about how they get a bigger write-off, they can take the depreciation in the first year. Don't know if that's true or not, but I cannot tell you how busy it is.
Yeah,
Is that just me, or do you think you see that across? Like, people are getting.
Yeah, that's
revved
why I
up.
say congratulations too.
All right.
Because you're like flying solo here.
All right. Well, so hey, by the way, talking about congratulations. Look at this. I have not done this in my live stream. My YouTube plaque. You guys, I got 100,000 subscribers, and we got to help Steven because we want to get him there too. He's a wealth of information. But thank you, everyone that has helped me on this journey. I'm so excited. And you can ask Carla. I literally take this everywhere I go, and I do my open houses, and I'm totally obnoxious. But honestly, this is probably the hardest thing I've ever done in my entire career. So thank you, and a lot of you have taught me a lot as well, including you, Steven. Thank you. But anyway, let's take some questions. What questions do we have? Okay, I do not have my glasses.
Yeah, I can help you.
Okay, thank you.
I am watching market pricing.
Oh, we already did this one.
Yeah, we did that one.
We did this one.
We did
Sorry.
that one. Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah.
Hang on, see.
There
We got
we
another
go.
one. All right.
About also in SoCal, do you think instead of putting on the market, it'd be better to wait until May with the new Fed coming in, moving out of state? No, this whole new Fed thing it's a big nothing burger. I said he's one guy.
Yeah.
And he's just one person. It'll change the flavor of the Q&A.
Yeah.
And so that's good. Jerome Powell still has 3 more meetings. So after May, he sunsets. So it's not going to all of a sudden we're going to see rates come down.
Okay.
I've had agents text me and say, so if they finally fire if they finally fire Jerome Powell, will we get rates now in the 4% range? The answer is absolutely not.
Yeah.
There's just going to be a different flavor. We should have lower rates, but it's not going to materialize as low rates.
Yes.
There are 12 that have to vote. And there are Jerome Powell is only one voting person, and it requires 7 out of 12 to go up or down. So you don't have 7 people who are saying, because what they want is rates that the federal funds rate to be down at 1.5%. And they can't do that. That would be a nightmare. We can't do it.
Inflation, you put fire on it.
It's inflation issues, and then we'll actually long-term end of the curve, which is what we do, 30-year mortgages.
Yep.
Will actually rise. So you'll get the lower end low, but you'll get the higher end rising, and you don't want that. So that would be a problem.
Are we ever going to get to 3% mortgage rates again? Let's hope not. Because
I don't think so. I really don't. I said it before that I don't think we will, and then we did. So you know what? I can't say it anymore because I was already wrong once. So can we? Yes. Do I think so? Not in my lifetime. But hey, you know what? Weird things happen. We had a pandemic. I had no idea.
No, I know. You can't predict that, right? Okay, we got another question. I got my readers on. Okay, let's see. Do you see homeowners insurance issues impacting sales in Southern California?
So this is interesting. No, not like everybody's making it out to be. There's still the demand's out there. That's not what's affecting prices right now and what's affecting how slow things are. What's affecting how slow things are interest rates. Yeah. Where interest rates are, period. So understand that. Now, as far as insurance is concerned, I know that everybody's upset that their insurance rates are going up. But I do want everybody to understand that we are like on a scale of 1 to 50 as far as the United States, we're in the middle as far as how expensive things are.
Interesting.
And that is the cost of replacement of identical dwellings. We have bigger houses, so to replace this house would be expensive, but it's just the house, not the dirt. The dirt's extremely expensive.
The land,
we're not replacing the dirt. So it's the cost actually is really low, and it needs to rise. That was the Department of Insurance in California that created that problem. And your friends in Florida, they can talk about how awful it's been because they're in the top 10. They're not even number one, though.
Who's number one?
I can't remember. It's in the Midwest. They're the tornado belt. There's insurance issues all across the country. It's not just California. Californians think it's us because we get on TV with our giant fires and stuff like that. But there's tornadoes and hurricanes and different things that have a far larger impact as far as disasters are concerned, and they're even harder to insure with floods and things like that. So we in California don't have that same problem, but rates do need to go up. We can't be in the middle. We got to be maybe the upper 1/3.
Okay. What about AI? Do you think that's affecting jobs and it's going to affect the economy and eventually affect people buying? Are you starting to hear anything like that? I'm addicted to it. I'm not going to lie. No, I am.
I really like AI. I don't like it for kids and schools and stuff like that. I think that's where it drops off my love for it. But AI, it's revolutionary change. It will change some jobs. The same thing happened when we hit the internet. Internet was supposed to replace what real estate people do. That didn't happen. They keep saying that every time. That's not going to happen. They need somebody, the professional, to walk them through the whole entire process. Same thing with the lenders. You can go online and get any lender you want, but boy, you have to have somebody you can trust. Same thing. All those. That's just what it is. It's kind of like where I come at. I want everybody to trust me. Stop listening to the shills that are out there. Those people. But bloomers, so will it affect some industries? I don't know which one ultimately, but there will be some people that will have a hard time finding a job, and that happened during all the .com stuff. It was definitely travel agencies were gone. We used to deal with travel agencies back in the day, and they printed out tickets for us. That's gone completely. So there will be some areas that it affects, but then it will create a lot of jobs as well. And people don't understand that. So that's coming as well. I'm not really that fearful of it. I'm more of a embrace it and figure it out and continue to do what we do, because they'll still need to hear our voices out there. No robot's going to be able to do what we do.
And just so you all know, I used to work for a company called Ingram Micro, and we used to sell computer parts. And anyway, long story short, when the internet came out, I'm like, there's no way the internet, what is this thing? And I mean, obviously we know what happened to the internet. And I do think AI is very similar. Like there is an opportunity. It's not going away. You got to embrace it, and it will make our lives easier, and it will create some opportunities. And some jobs will go, just like you said, the travel agents' jobs that weren't, were kind of bye-bye after the internet, right?
Oh, for sure.
All right, so we got some more questions. What we got? Okay, let's see. Do you see winter resort areas going down faster and waiting to buy would be advantageous for buyers? What about those selling their properties? Read it again. Do you see winter resort areas going down faster and waiting to buy would be advantageous for buyers? What about those selling their properties?
We're talking, these are like second home areas
what
and
I'm
things like
thinking,
that. For us locally here, it's like Big Bear. It's like the Coachella Valley comes to mind. It's all these areas where they have had some issues.
Yes, they have.
They have had some issues. However, those issues are waning. Okay. It's right now. It's all those people that bought these places during COVID and that thought, yeah, we could just work here for a while. And then after a while, they held onto the asset. They all came on at the same time after they all had that same itch to get rid of it.
Yep.
And I think that the opportunistic time is like now. And really, if I was a buyer, I'd probably look at right now, just because I've seen the numbers and I know that what happens as rates come down is that just creates more demand, more competition for buyers. So it's like a real good advantageous spot to get those people that are languishing on market, and then you can wheel and deal with those people that have been on the market for quite some time.
So you don't think the market's going to collapse, and you should wait and just find the right house, right?
Yes.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Here's another one. Can a federal government legally require mortgages to be assumed for a few years in the future? I don't know.
So this is the portability of mortgages or assumptions.
Oh, assumption mortgages.
Assumption mortgages.
Got it.
I'm so glad the government and everybody's talking about these things. That's fantastic. The one thing that they can do is get rid of that capital gains or change it, a deduction that's been pegged to $1997, $500,000 for a couple, $250,000 for a single. That is $1997, which meant that was pretty much a McMansion that they were covering across the United States, not just California. They've talked about doubling it. There's actually a bill, but it's been sunset. It's been like kicked down the road over and over again, taking it from $500,000 to $1 million for a couple.
Love that.
$250,000 to $500,000. They really need to do it because there's a lot of homeowners that aren't moving simply because of that. They need to work on the supply side of things. Working on the demand side of things, not necessarily. The market will take care of itself. As far as the assumption of mortgages, there aren't that many that are assumable.
Right.
VA is one of them.
Right?
Yeah, and so, but there aren't that many that get done. It's a process that requires the lender making nothing. So you're not going to have a lot of lenders who are going to go, yes, let's go do this. So you have a hard time finding anybody to do it. And so that's one thing. I don't see it really taking off. The loans have to be written that way, so that's the only way we can go that direction. You talked about 50-year mortgages, not going to do that. Portability of mortgages, taking your low rate and go someplace else. Well, that's kind of, we'll never do that. Doesn't make sense to do that. And investors purchase these loans in bundles, and with the idea that most of them they burn in 10 years. That means they sell in 10 years. So if they have the portability of their mortgage, and let's take our 2.75% interest rate all over the place and go boing, boing, boing all over the place. Well, that investor didn't sign up for that.
That's right.
And so there will be a lot of litigation surrounding that. That won't happen. There's no way. There would be a gigantic lawsuit that would squash that completely.
All right, this is a question I have to ask, and I'm sorry, I know there's a couple of people that are dying to ask questions. I hear this all the time. 6%, 7%, 8% mortgage rates are not a big deal. When I bought my house in 1980, I had 18% mortgage rates. Okay, so here's my question. It's really a ratio between salaries, what the house value was. What is your stance on that?
Yeah, so affordability is not just rate.
Right.
It's rate. It's income, and it's prices. Prices are really high. So when you matched up these really high prices down with these tiny little mortgage rates, it allowed values to continue to go up. We can't have an 18% interest rate like we did back in the day. No, that's not going to happen. My first interest rate was like I was celebrating because it was below 10. So in the nines, that was a great rate. However, in the nines, you put a 9 to what the median price home is where I'm at. I can't afford that. No one can afford that. That's ridiculous. What a waste. So it's all relative, and you have to look at all three moving parts in order to figure it all out. So
because salaries aren't increasing at the same rate as inflation.
If you think 5%, it's outpacing inflation right now, which is good.
Yeah, that's good, right?
That's good. Yeah. So and values aren't going up that much. If they go up like 1%. I think Case Shiller came out today and said negative a little bit, but Case Shiller is not. Don't even look at that. I'm not a big fan of Case Shiller any longer.
Isn't their data so far lagged too?
It's they far lagged. They just released October, which is, and they take a 3-month rolling average. So that is September. No, that's what. August, September, October. That's 3 months.
Yeah.
So August, September, I don't really care what happened in August.
Yeah.
Holy smokes.
know.
I want November's numbers. I want them soon,
Now,
and I'm
yeah.
going to get them at the end of the month from Freddie Mac's Home Price
Yep.
Index,
Yep.
ICE, formerly Black Knights,
Yep.
more theirs as well. We also have Fannie Mae does something different around the Home Price Index, and we have Zillow. There's a lot of people that have way more current information that we're looking at.
Okay. Let's see. Another question. Let's do another question. What time is it? Are we still that time? Oh, good. We got a little bit, couple more. Let's see. I thought there was just a reform on capital gains where the first 598K for a couple was 0% tax and then goes up by percentage after that.
No,
No.
it's that's the whole capital gains exclusion. It's 500,000 for for a couple, $250,000. They have been talking about it. There is actually a bill, but that bill keeps on getting. They keep on kicking that bill further down the road. It's been now 2 years, and it's driving me nuts. So, but I agree that thing definitely needs to be taken care of, but they haven't done it yet.
Yep. Okay, so and I live in Southern California. My husband died 4 years ago, and I'm looking to sell our home. Can you explain the step-up basis value? Thank you. You may not know this. Do you know that? Funny thing is, I'm actually doing a video on widows and widowers after Christmas, so you have to tune in. But when you have your spouse pass away, you get your house appraised. I recommend getting it appraised by a professional appraiser. Mm-hmm. You can also get a broker opinion of value by your realtor, and then whatever that value is, if the house were to appreciate anything above that, you would get taxed on the gains above that that appraisal value.
I love that. Thank you for doing that, because I mean, I know it, but then you explained it way better than I would have. See, so sometimes I defer to the experts, and she actually knows a bit about it. So,
but you got to tune in. That's going to be a great video. I can't wait to do the video. A lot of you have been asking that. Are we almost out of time, or can we do one more? Okay, so some of you emailed some questions. Let's see what we got. All right, let's go with.
Well, they're all over the place. That's fantastic.
I know, all
Your
over the
audience is
country.
everywhere.
Yeah. Okay, so. Okay, let's go. Will locations like the Hamptons, where most people pay all cash and do not need to sell nor need to buy, be affected similarly as the rest of the country? So we're talking a high.
Yeah, so luxury has been outperforming the rest of the marketplace. That's been the story. So Hamptons, I don't have the data to see specifically, but I would guess, because I can see it in all the areas. We have reports that dot throughout the Bay Area, SoCal. We track Sacramento, we track Santa Barbara. So we're in California. And also Phoenix, Maricopa, and Clark County, which is Vegas. So that's our area. It's only because I don't want to fly all over the country. But I imagine the same thing's going on with them. It's the luxuries outperforming the lower end. And so I imagine the same thing's going on with the Hamptons. But it's not like to a degree of what we saw during the pandemic years.
Right.
Because then there was very few homes available. Because there are homes available in that upper end, and there is a lot of competition. So it all then boils down to properly pricing your home again.
Yes. And that's the key. You all know that I'm constantly telling you, you have to really dial in to figure out your price. If you're overpriced, you're not going to be successful in today's
Giant waste
market.
of everybody's time.
Yeah, buyers are smart. They know the comps. They know your house and your neighborhood better than you do as far as values. Okay, so one last one. How much time do we have left? 3 minutes. Okay, good. Should we sell our San Jose house now and wait approximately a year or so to buy another house, assuming the property values are going to take a deep dive in 2026?
Well, they're not.
I know.
I already said, if you listen to this whole thing, they're not going to take a deep dive.
They're not.
Stop listening to the YouTube channel people.
I know.
There's so many articles out there. It's all clickbait stuff.
Clickbait, I know.
It's all clickbait stuff.
Yeah.
So just ignore all that stuff and know that we're missing key ingredients like inventory.
Yep. Okay, here's another one. When purchasing, how does one know if they are overpaying for the value that the property is worth? Comps are a pass look. I'm wondering about the future of value in 2026 in Walnut Creek, for example. You actually know Walnut
Yeah, I know Walnut Creek. This is everybody trying to get ahead of themselves, thinking that the market's going to crash, so I want to wait for prices to come down type of thing. That's a mentality that has been around since the Stone Ages. So it's not, you do look at all the comps. You look at recent comps. You look at available, you look at pending. Available, you can kind of take with a giant grain of salt. Pending, I really want to know what's pending. And see where everything's at. And I'm going to do apples to apples, and I'm going to do recent comps, recent closed sales. That's what sellers are basing it on. That's what future buyers. And the buyer, I said, we're going to start off the year with fewer homes on the market, more buyer activity. So the market speeds up like crazy, which means that it really boils down to the comps again. You really look at the comps, and you got to go comp by comp. And what I like to do is probably look at the last 4 months. I start to, a little asterisk 4 months ago, but anything within the last 90 days. It depends upon the property too. If there's not a lot of comps, you have to go outside of the area. You have to deal with an expert that knows how to do all this stuff, because then you take each of the comps, go plus, minus, plus, minus, plus, minus, until you figure out exactly what that price should be.
That's right. The other thing, you mentioned pending sales. So as a realtor, when I'm looking to price a house for one of my clients, I will call the other realtors who have a home under contract. I'm like, hey, can you tell me what you're under contract for? Because remember, when their house goes under contract, they're not going to put, on the MLS what they're under contract for. So most of them will say, no, I can't tell you. But if you get nice enough, you can say, can you give me a range? Is it above this price slightly? And they'll give you some guidance. And I think that's really important, because anybody can ask whatever they want to when it's an active listing. But when it goes under contract and it closes, that's what the appraiser is going to be looking at. So you don't go back a year. Your 3 months look back, in my opinion, is the most telling, right? And then looking at those pending sales really helps, in my opinion, as far as establishing value. But I'm telling you right now, every single time, every year when it starts in springtime, values always seem to slightly go up. In my opinion, the most valuable your house ever is that very first day it's on the market, because people want to pounce. They don't know what their competition is. So price your house properly, right? Put your house in good condition, and get ready. It's not a time to take your time. You need to be prepared from the get-go. All right, I think we're almost ready to wrap it up. Oh, we are. Okay, we're going to put Steven's contact information on the screen again. Thank you all for tuning in. He's amazing. I promise you, you will get educated. And thank you all again for my YouTube lab. Thank you. Okay, his contact information's on the screen, and I will link it down in the description below. Thanks so much for tuning in. Have a great day. Thanks, Steven.
Thank you.
Okay, high five.